Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to our Sunday morning meditation and Dhamma discussion session. So nowadays we are learning Mahasatipatthana Sutta and we meditated according to the teaching come from the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. So we learned Kaya-anupassana, contemplation on body, and then Vedana-anupassana, contemplation on the feeling, and then Chitta-anupassana, contemplation on mind. Now we are learning Dhamma-anupassana, contemplation on Dhamma. That's the very special part in this sutta talking about the Vipassana meditation section. Vipassana meditation, you all know what is meaning Vipassana. The meaning of Vipassana is seen in a special way, not regular way. We are seeing something always. That's very normal and regular way, not difference, not a special. Vipassana is the meaning and seeing something not regular way, very special way. To see, to understand, to realize the reality of it. That's the meaning of Vipassana. See something as it is. When we see something, we not just take the structure of the things and we take the reality and true nature of it. So this is called the Vipassana. Today we are going to meditate to see the reality, very important things we consider very important. We think my whole body is the very important thing, right? Then eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and then body and mind. This is called I, or we call this is my, mine, this is mine. We are attached to them, we ponder them, and we spend our whole life to manage them, take care of them, and we depend on them. Because these are very important to us. So we just see the eye, then we think there are anything value in this world like my eyes. Then I take care of you like my eyes. That's what is the Sinhala way we say. So then we, when something happened to eyes, we become very sad, very mad. When we lost eyes, so we become, oh, my whole life is lost. It's nothing. My life is useless without eyes. Then we become very stressed, very sad, very upset. So, and sometimes when we see the other side, we think, oh, that's so beautiful, I love it, and they get attached to those eyes because of the beauty. So that's the regular way people think and see the things we love most, we attach most. But in the Vipassana meditation, and we're going to see the reality of the eyes, and we go through the beauty, into the nature, into the reality. What's the real nature of the eyes? Then the meditation is keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, to go like we do meditation on breath. We focus breath and we keep our mind on in and out breath, in and out breath, and we keep um, mindfulness on breath continuously keep doing it until we get into that, until we get concentrate onto the breath, until mind get stop and still on the breath, full focus, not get distracted. We got used to it, mind get used to it, mind very concentrate, very, very mindful and very, very relaxed and calm and relying on the breath. Likewise, we keep seeing our eyes and keep thinking and thinking and thinking of the reality of the eyes, until we get understand these eyes are temporary. It is temporary from the birth until to keep changing, changing until to death. After death, it's going to be completely disappear. So then we come to realize eyes are not I. Eyes are not mind. Eyes are not my soul. Eyes is something arising and passing away, subject to change and temporary exist and will disappear. It is not belong to me. It is not attached. It's no reason to attach and grab and hold and die on it, to be excited or mad or sad about it. It is something to understand and realize is impermanent and temporary exist and not I, not mine and myself. So we keep thinking and thinking and thinking of the I, the reality and true nature of the eyes, until we become realizing it. So when we come to realize the true reality and true nature of the eyes, and then we come to understand completely and perfectly, it is not I or mine or myself. When we come to that realization and we get free from the eyes, like through the ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So that is the get freedom, liberation, get. That's the way to enlightenment, awakening. That's how we. That's what's the meaning of meditation, of vipassana. If you read the suttas and this whole suttas, Buddha keep explaining this reality and true nature of these things, what we consider as I and mine and myself. That's the reason for the sentient beings to keep exist in the samsara, right? That's what is we keep upadana, grasp, hold as I and mine and myself. That's why we keep continuing the samsara. So, in this, then we're going to meditate on these sense bases to understand and to see reality of these sense bases. So then prepare for meditation and sit down comfortably. Gently close your eyes and keep your back straight. Then take deep breath and slowly release. And keep taking deep breath. And slowly release. Keep taking a couple of times deep breath mindfully and release mindfully. Now you may focus your top of the head and relax your head and relax your forehead and your face and relax your shoulders, drop them and relax your arms and your chest and your stomach. Now you slowly come into yourself and relax your legs and your feet. Adjust your sitting position and look your sitting position. Now we are going to think in very special way. We are going to think what Siddhartha make Buddha himself. Now we are going to think what the ordinary people make themselves enlightened, awakening into the reality. Very significant meditation method in Buddhism. Vipassana. Now you simply imagine you were born as a baby and you keep, when we come first time into our mother's womb, so we keep growing in the mother's womb, and these all eyes, ears, nose, these all senses keep growing. Then mother gave birth to us. Then we got these eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So now we are keep growing. The eyes we got not the same when we born. It has grown, changed. These eyes are keep changing. Eyes are always change. In a second, these eyes change billion, trillion, even many trillions time in a second. These eyes are subject to change, not permanent. These eyes are temporary, not permanent. These eyes sometimes get sick and subject to illness. And keep growing, growing and growing, sometimes get sick and ill. Finally, these eyes will definitely die, will disappear. No matter how much I love my eyes, from the birth until to death, we whole life we see the world through these eyes. But these eyes, nature and reality of these eyes are impermanent and temporary and will disappear. You may keep thinking and thinking into deep understanding of the reality of the eyes. We can't control this impermanent nature. It is out of control. We are temporarily fixing some illness and sickness by medicating, but it is always change. You may step behind of your eyes and just look into, understand the reality of it. The same thing you keep thinking again and again and again. This is called meditation. And we're going to think the same thing. These eyes are impermanent, temporary, subject to change, and will disappear. The reality you can see after death of the people, and they get buried or cremated, and those eyes going to be disappeared. That same thing happened to these eyes, what I think mine. And these eyes are impermanent, subject to change, temporary, and will disappear. These eyes are not I. These eyes are not mine or myself. The reality and true nature of these eyes are impermanent, subject to change, and temporary, and losing, perishing, vanishing, and disappearing. These eyes are not I, these eyes are not mine or myself. It is something arising and passing away. Nothing to fond of it, nothing to attach to it. But I have to care my eyes. I always do. And you have to care your eyes. But remember and understand these eyes are impermanent, temporary, perishing, vanishing, disappearing. These eyes are not I or mine or myself. It is not mine, not belong to me. Eyes are something arising and passing away. My attachment is something else. That's what we understand. And we're going to get freed from that attachment, what we think, eyes are I, mine, and myself. Likewise, when you're going to meditate on your ears, then before we go into ears, the forms we see through the eyes, and just meditate on the forms, the all visual objects in the world, except eyes, and whatever we see in front of us, no matter how valuable, how important, how beautiful, how serene, but the nature and reality of these all visual objects, forms in the world are impermanent, subject to change, temporary, and will perish, vanish, and disappear. The people I love most, I attach most, I crave in most, and those all people, those all visual things are impermanent, temporary, and will disappear. They are not belong to me. They are not mine. They are something arising and passing away. What is the nature of your eyes? That's the same nature of what you see through the eyes. these eyes and all those visual objects in the world are impermanent, temporary, and will disappear. They are not I or mine or myself, nothing to craving, nothing to attach. It is better to free what is not I, what is not mine, and what is not myself. And that's the freedom. That freedom is the happiness, liberation. And freedom from that attachment. What is the attachment? Attachment is the think this is I or mine or myself. But the reality and true nature of these eyes and all forms are impermanent, temporary, perishing, vanishing, and disappearing. Now you keep meditating, your ears and all sounds come to the ears. Are impermanent, temporary, arising and passing, disappearing. They are not I, mine or myself. The nose and odors, tongue and taste, body and touches and tactiles, tangible things, mind and all thoughts are impermanent, subject to change, arising and passing. They are not I or mine or myself. Keep meditating and thinking the same thing again and again and again until it comes clear to you. It becomes very clear and clear and clear. you may come to conclusion. Whatever we think, I and mine, including this eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and whatever we see and get contact with the forms, sounds, odors, taste, and touches and thoughts. This entire world, including this, I myself and all those others, are impermanent, subject to change, and disappearing. There's nothing, anything in this world can call I or permanent, exist, everlast. Is everything in this world I am permanent, temporary, and perishing, vanishing, disappearing. When something change, when something lose, it's nothing to be sad or worry or mad or stress, because anything in this body or in this external world not belong to me. There's nothing to attach or craving for it, because everything in this world is arising and passing. That attachment to this impermanent thing is the stress. That attachment to this impermanent temporal thing is the depression. Craving to this all impermanent thing is the cause of suffering. That craving to this impermanent thing is the reason to suffering. What is not I, and nothing to attach to it. What is not mine is nothing to attach to it. What is not myself is nothing to attach to it. Everything is arising and passing, arising and passing, arising and passing. My attachment is my stress. Depression. Attachment is the pain, sorrow, worry, sad, pain, suffering. This attachment is the suffering. So what is impermanent and should let it go, not to attach to it. Buddha freed by himself this attachment, and all enlightened ones freed from this attachment, and they are never thought and considered by themselves. These eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind by themselves belong to them, or they are the them. Or these things, themselves, they never consider, because they freed from the attachment onto these impermanent things, and they become enlightened and freed, and they become happy. They never get stress. They never get depression. They never worry. They never sad. Never sad. And they're always happy because they're freed. That freedom is the real happiness. That freedom is the real liberation. Because there's nothing to worry and sad. Because we understand everything. Every conditional thing, I'm permanent, temporary, disappearing. The cause of this suffering is the attachment to this impermanent thing. That attachment keeps continuing the samsara and give the suffering, pain, stress, depression, and all mass of suffering again and again and again and again. Okay, now you come back to yourself into your sitting position and just see your sitting position. Now you meditated entire your body, what you think, I and mine and myself, and this entire external world we attach most. So now we meditated about whole world, including me and then all external world. And we understand the reality and true nature of this whole world. The whole world is the senses and then objects. The reality, true nature of those things is things are impermanent, rising, passing, never exist forever, everlasting, rising and passing. There are nothing can something called I or mine or myself. So now you take your palms together and say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you may take a break for a few minutes, then we're going to get Dhamma discussion. If you have any questions, and we can discuss.
I have a quick question, Bante, or just wondering about something. I think I understand when you say attachment is stress, attachment is suffering. But at the same time, like this time of year, we get gifts. There's presents given, and that's like a source of happiness for people. um, so when I get a gift, I'm immediately attached to that gift. Like I say, me, mine. That gift is me, mine, and by saying me, mine, I become happy, right? So I'm trying to understand, attachment can be happiness and it can also be suffering, or is it always suffering?
No, there's happiness too. That's what is make, and we learn today. Now, I don't think we can go to that part of the sutta. And Buddha said that what is in this world is appear rupa and sata rupa. What is the agreeable, desirable, and it's make us happy. The problem is they are not the permanent things. So that happiness could be suffering when it change or when someone take it away. Then distress is always with that happiness. But that's the happiness. That's the happiness. Buddha said that. I say monks, that's happiness. That's why people love it most, attach to it most. Because there's happiness. What is make us comfortable? What is make us happy and feel good? And this is the happiness. But the problem is that happiness is not permanent.
Anyway, but okay.
What do you think, Michael?
Well, Bante, did anyone else have this kind of experience? Because this is a very common experience for me. I get something, whether it be a present or something I bought myself, that makes me very happy because I really want it and it represents maybe a tie, a relationship, or whatever it may be. But all these things, after a day, 2 days, a week, a year, however long it takes, it kind of stops making us happy. There is there are studies done in raises. People get you're on a job and you get a raise, and the raise you get is a pretty good raise, like 20% or half again or whatever it may be. You get a promotion or raise, and that makes you happy, and you can feel that happiness in your body, and you can feel that happiness in your mind because you now have much more money available to you, and you can buy things you couldn't buy before, and so on and so forth. But what the studies show is that this feeling of extra, that you now have more, is short-lived. It doesn't last long. It lasts for only a short time. After a short time, it's back to normal. Whatever additional money you got by way of a raise, or even to project to the present idea, you get a present and now you have it. It all goes back to normal very quickly. In other words, the baseline it just changes, but the idea of the baseline does not change. So therefore, it's a temporary pleasure, whether it be present or whether this is the feeling I have, and this is the study that was done regarding raises. People get raises on the job, they get more money, that it becomes normal very quickly and it stops giving pleasure. So I think that maybe speaks to the idea of the difference between real happiness, real pleasure, and the temporary pleasures that we get from having things. They're two different things. So the word happy could have a capital H and it could have a small h, but they're not really the same thing, and they don't stand in juxtaposition. That is to say, they don't stand in opposition to one another. The little one with the small h, that stands in opposition to unhappy. In other words, it's the opposite of unhappy. But the happiness with a capital H has no opposite. It could be on one side, it could be on the other side. I could be sick, I'm satisfied. I could be well, I'm satisfied. That's the big H. So I ramble.
Yes, definitely there's a happiness. When we gain something, we happy. And Buddha also says, Arogya Paramalabha, the good health is the happiness. So that's happiness exactly, that we enjoy it, we have it, and Buddha said there's two different happiness called Samisa Sukha and Niramisa Sukha. Samisa Sukha is the happiness related with the attachment or craving or something related with the sense of pleasure. The happiness related with we enjoy and we feel good come through this sensual things.
Mm.
That's happiness. It's okay to have it, and they are so ordinary people, and we all do that. We live for that. We die for it. But the Buddhist, the meditation, vipassana meditation, and to lead us to something extraordinary, and then the not regular way to this kind of this extraordinary happiness. That's called Niramisha Sukha. Niramisha Sukha is the happiness we experience. Whatever when we gain something, we happy, right? When we success, we happy. When we healthy, we happy. Whatever we get the happiness through this sense of pleasure. The pleasurable things, agreeable things. So that's the Niramisha Sukha is the we enjoy and we feel good, we enjoy happiness, but it's not related with craving or attachment. That's the difference. But the problem is that the happiness we enjoy in most, whatever when we get a gift or when we become success or get promotion or gain a lot of money or something, the problem of this happiness is always can be stress, can be lost, lose. The happiness can be uh, lose or lost, can lose. So it is kind of it's related with suffering. It's not completely away from that suffer that happiness. It's happiness until we have that. So when you lose it, and that happiness is going to be disappear. But the Niramisha Sukha is not related with the happiness rising from that agreeable and desirable thing we have.
And Marie has a question.
Are
you muted?
Oh, Lisa.
Here we go. Thank you.
Oh,
I thank you. I really liked that meditation. That was really, it was good. But I did have a hesitation when we came to the part about the thoughts. I was rolling, and then as soon as the idea of the thoughts are impermanent, I know that the thoughts come and go, but the thought of having no thought, it was like a little uneasy, and I would wonder what, and like say to do that practice on.
It's difficult you to think thoughts are not what.
It was not difficult to say that the thoughts can rise and be impermanent and go. The thought of not thinking, of not having thoughts, it just was a real hesitancy. Like it broke it there for a minute, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's the very deepest and highest, uh, highest samadhi, the highest achievement of meditation is called Sanya Vedita Nirodha. That's the stay away from that old thoughts. Stay without thoughts is the highest samadhi someone can have in this life. Uh, but we are confused now because we still thinking and we without thoughts then maybe kind of make confused. But that's in samadhi, if we do breathing meditation, right? Then what we do, we go and we stop in thinking by focusing breath, and we stop thinking and we stop wonder mind, come to thoughts to mind, and we just only focus in breath out, breath in, breath out breath.
But when you recognize that you're not thinking, you're in a thought, correct?
Yeah, we think while we meditating, in Vipassana meditating, we keep thinking. But in
Okay.
in the samadhi meditation, samatha meditation, and we not think, we just stop thinking.
Is that the end of, is that like a result of this meditation that you stop thinking? Because if the thoughts come and go, what's even the point? There's no thoughts. You know, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the samatha meditation, because when so many thoughts come to mind and make mind confused and very heavy, then mind, the capability of the mind, the capacity of the mind, the active of the mind to understand something clearly and perfectly, the skill of the power of the mind is very limited. But when we stop thinking and mind get its power, its strength to see something special, to get some power and power. That's how mind get power.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. How long you studying Buddhism?
How long have I studied?
Studying
About
Buddhism.
5 years, five,
5
six
years.
years.
5 years. So then usually we take so many thoughts in a second, so many thoughts, but then we understand the thoughts are impermanent. What you said, it's impermanent. Whatever thoughts we had minutes ago, or hour ago, or yesterday, or day before yesterday, they're all gone, no more exist. But whatever thoughts still arising and passing thoughts, mind and thoughts are the very fastest things we experience. So this all rising and disappearing. So then in the meditation, in the samatha meditation, and what we do by focusing breath or something else, and get mind onto one point. It's called one pointedness. It's called ekaggata. Ekaggata means mind keep on point. Only one thing, only the breath, that's all. Only the breath. Then mind become calm and calm and calm and relax and relax and relax. When mind become completely concentrate breath, when mind become completely focus the breath, then mind become very calm and relaxed. Then we start to experience. Do you remember what are going to be experienced in the samadhi? In the first samadhi, have 5 factors, and we learned. Anyone remember? The first samadhi, what we experienced. Then we experience vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. And we apply the mind to the breath, then we sustain the thoughts on the breath. We focus breath and we keep thoughts on the breath. Then, when we keep continue, then mind get one point onto the breath, nothing else come to mind, only breath. Then when mind become calm and relaxed, then rapture rise. Then mind filled with the joy, rapture. Then the happiness filled entire body. Then we feel the happiness through the body, and mind is focused, one-pointed, ekaggata. And this is what we experience through the samadhi meditation. We experience joy, happiness, and focus. So That's the highest happiness we can have through the meditation. That happiness is not we cannot experience in this life with the sensual pleasure. The happiness related to the eye, related to the ear, related to the nose, tongue, and body. The happiness was related to the forms, sounds, odors, taste, and the touches, and to the thoughts. Is not the highest happiness, because they are always rising, passing, and subject to change, and stress related with the stress, because we fear to lose it. But the happiness comes through the meditation. That's kind of extraordinary. That's called highest happiness. Highest happiness. Okay. Yeah.
When you do the meditation, but when you are thinking about the breathing all the time, sometimes all of a sudden some thoughts come to you. So the thought, when the third thought comes to you, if you realize, oh, there's a thought came. So you realize the thought came, at the same time you get rid of that thought, start again doing the breathing meditation. I think otherwise straight away very difficult to keep the mind in a breathing position all the time. The thought comes. When the thoughts come, you realize, oh, thoughts came. So you realize that, and after that you can start again, not going through the thoughts like a chain. You just stop then and there and start again the proper breathing meditation. I think that's where I think otherwise very difficult to keep the mind in one place when you person who is starting doing the mindful meditation. It goes, thoughts come and thoughts go. So likewise you improve, not let the thoughts come to you. So in that way, when you experience or improve that way, finally I think you can keep the breath in a one position, and that's the time I think you feel the very relaxed and you feel very happiness. I think you have to I think practice very hard, I think, to come to that position. We are, I think, at the moment in not that position, but we are trying to come to that position. That's where I think one thing.
Yes, that it is. In the breathing meditation, the first 4 steps. If you think you all know the very first 4 steps of the breathing meditation is the bring mind and thoughts into these 4 steps. That's the first one is the see the length of the breath, short or long, in the first 10 seconds. The short breath or long breath, and we come to see. We bring our thoughts to the breath to see it is long or short. In the third, and we see the entire breath from the beginning to end. Then our all thoughts focus onto the breath, bring onto the breath. Then we see from the whole breath. That's the third step. In the fourth steps, and we relax in breath. We relax in breath means we relax. When breath relax means mind relax, thoughts relax, because we focus breath. Then we relax in breath means we relax in entire thoughts. The mind becomes slow down, and become relaxed, not very rush, and become is concentrate, come to relax. Then until when we reach to the samadhi, in that samadhi, and in the fourth samadhi, there even we stop breathing. It means we stop thinking. So that's the highest relaxation in the samadhi. Okay, let's go to the sutta. Okay. So today we are going to learn Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths. Okay. And Buddha say here, according to the Dhammanupassana, contemplation on Dhamma, and we learn about the five hindrances, right? And then the five skandhas, five aggregates, and then the sense bases. So, and the seven factors of enlightenment. And today we are going to learn Four Noble Truths. Then we meditate on Four Noble Truths. This is called Dhammanupassana Pub, the section of contemplation according to the Satya, truths. Truths. There are four truths. Buddha said here, monks, there are four truths. What are those four truths? Anyone remember the Four Noble Truths?
Suffering, the,
I remember.
the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and then the way that leads to the cessation of suffering.
Okay, very
That
good.
was the Buddha's first enlightenment, is the Four Noble Truths. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's that's the base.
So number one is the world is suffering because of impermanence.
Mm.
Number two is it is caused from being attached
Mm-hmm.
and craving.
Mm.
And number three is there is a way to get out of it, and then by eliminating attachment, you have nibbana here on earth, right there.
Right,
And then the fourth one is the path, and that's the Noble Eightfold Path.
right. Yeah. So thank you. Very good. So that's the Four Noble Truths. And Buddha here says there are we have to meditate on Four Noble Truths. So how we meditate on Four Noble Truths? And Buddha mentioned, monks, there are four truths. The first one is the suffering, unsatisfactoriness. The second one is the cause and origin of suffering. The third one is the end of suffering. And the fourth one is the path to the make it end. So these are the Four Noble Truths. And then Buddha explaining the first one. What is the first one? What is the truth of suffering? Monks, the truth of suffering is the truth of birth, truth of decaying, truth of death, truth of sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair, and also associating with not pleasant ones, and separation from the pleasant ones, dearest ones, and then the suffering of not gaining what we want, and then losing, and then the briefly the suffering of five aggregates of clinging. And these are the suffering, the truth of suffering, truth of suffering. What are the truth of suffering? Birth. Okay, go ahead. Birth, decay, aging. Birth is a suffering, aging is suffering. But in this sutta actually not mention the suffering of illness. Maybe they missed it to something, but in the all other suttas, Satyavibhanga Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and many other suttas mention this. When suffering explained, and suffering has explained birth of suffering, aging, old age is suffering, and then illness is suffering. But here it doesn't mention. But in the later in this sutta mentioned that. And then the birth, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, and then death is suffering. And then the sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair. And then suffering of associating unbeloved ones. And then suffering of separation from the loved ones. And then the suffering of not gaining what we want. And then the suffering of, briefly, the aggregates of clinging. And this is called suffering. That's what is we all experience in our life, right? Right, Bhaddi? These are the suffering we experience in our whole life, right? Michael?
Right.
You still here?
That's right.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think this suffering? Buddha mentioned the suffering, the explanation about the suffering. Birth.
On the money.
What?
Right.
Yeah, birth.
Aging.
Yeah, the Buddha explaining what is birth. Okay, let's see what is birth. And Buddha explaining what is the birth. Birth is the rebirth. Here explaining inception, conception, reincarnation. And then Sutta mentioned the jati, sanjati, ukkanti, abhinibbanti. Jati, sanjati means we not get birth. The sentient being is not birth as all humans. Some are animals, come from the eggs. Some are give the birth from the womb, come from the womb. And some are come from the, not from the eggs, even not from the wombs in many different ways. And then that's why Buddha explained, some are spontaneously get birth. That's we cannot see that. The deities are born as spontaneously. So then the even ghost born spontaneously. There are no anyone to give them to birth, or they not come from the eggs or any other way, and they born, they manifest, appear. They appear spontaneously. So that's why Buddha using different words here. Rebirth, inception, conception, reincarnation, and okkanti means is just come to exist. Then the acquisition of the skandhas. Do you remember what are the skandhas? Khandas. Khanda means the aggregates. Yeah, aggregates, the five aggregates. Remember the five aggregates?
The body.
Body. Go ahead. The five khandas, five skandhas, aggregates. Body. Feeling.
Mental formation. Consciousness.
Consciousness.
Perception.
Perception.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Very good. These are the five aggregates called Panchakhanda. Panchakhanda, five aggregates. Feeling, form, feeling, perception, volitions, and consciousness. So, and then the acquisition of these aggregates is the birth. Acquisition of this aggregate is the birth. And then the ayatana patilabho, acquisition of the senses, acquisition eyes, acquisition ears, acquisition nose, tongue, body, and mind. The acquisition of this sense bases are the birth. Okay, rebirth, inception, conception, reincarnation, or acquisition of the aggregates, acquisition of the sense bases is the birth. In here, Buddha mentioned various of sentient beings in the various of orders. Yeah, it's called here. Yatesan tesan sattanan tammi sattanikai. In many various of sentient beings, in many various of orders. And then they get birth. This is called birth, and this is suffering. Uh, this is kind of,
Bante,
yeah.
Bante, can you explain me reincarnation or rebirth? So two different meaning of those things. In Bante, reincarnation and rebirth.
I,
Rebirth means that
I,
yeah,
I, did,
some
I do not know what the exactly
I,
that English words mean.
rebirth.
I think,
Rebirth, I thought
hmm, hmm,
rebirth means, Bante, some people think that we are born in life exactly same way.
hmm.
The reincarnation, I don't know, there's two different things. Reincarnation means we are not the same as we are because we are collecting energy. So we are not the same person. We are different person with something else. So there's a two meaning for the rebirth and reincarnation. I can't remember. Some people think that we born exactly same way like now. And
Although
it's,
that, that is the idea. It's come from the Hinduism.
Hindus, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because
So that's
because
true.
Hindus believe they have a soul and they born in the same.
Rebirth.
But in Buddhism,
Yeah, they
and in Buddhism we all know it is not.
not, yeah. So we can, so it's rebirth and reincarnation, two different births. That's what I don't know which one is Buddhist has to say, I think.
Yeah,
Reincarnation.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know that exactly English words mean, but in the
It's Bhante, it's like in Buddhism, it's the mind stream goes forward, but we don't go forward.
yeah.
Not our mind. The mind stream goes forward and reappears in a new being somewhere, and that new being is not me.
Yeah.
But it's not totally different from me because we share the same mind stream. The Buddha made it an analogy of the caterpillar and the butterfly. The butterfly is not different than it's not the same as a caterpillar, but it's not totally different either.
Yeah.
So it's not me that goes forward.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no eternal me. I didn't say,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go to Earth, and it's me, and I've lived 80 times or whatever. That's not it. It's the mind stream goes from host to host, and eventually gets somebody who gets enlightened and carries the mind stream to Buddha's heaven for like 10,000 years or whatever. And then final reunification with the source, and all identity of the bhikkhu is lost.
So you don't have to die to be reincarnated. It happens among us, the living, that we're all one, but you don't have to die.
No, to get rebirth. Actually, to get rebirth, we have to die in in biological way. But in the Buddhist idea about death and birth is in a second we get in birth and die many billions and trillions time even in a second in Buddhist way. It's called Kanamarana, and it's called because every second we born and die and born and die and born and die. That's what is the Buddha once said. You if you want to think something is eternal or permanent, and you think consider your body, it looks stay for a while the same way, but don't think about your mind. The mind is very quickly rising and passing, rising and passing, born and die, born and die. That's the Buddhist way of this. But we keep born and die until to biologically we die, when the breath move from the body. And then when we die, that biological way, when we die, then we move to another birth. But the Buddhism doesn't say that's the same person we born, because there are no same person, because mind is born and die is completely different. This is called in Pali, but Pali it is used punabhava. That's punabhava is the Buddhist term. Punarutpatti is the Hinduism word. Hindus use the same person born and born because this come from the soul, come from the God. The Brahma. That's because that soul have to get reconnected with the Brahma. That's their idea is the soul. They go. There's a punarpat is happening. Same. They just change the clothes. They change clothes, but the same person going on. But in Buddhism, we call punarbhava, and we move to another existence, another existence. It doesn't say the same person. We call punarbhava, punarbhava. Punarbhava means the becoming, 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 and we becoming. But it doesn't say the same person because the mind, consciousness is going continue like a chain, and it's getting again to connect with this, the consciousness, ration and passion, and ration and passion. That consciousness is related with attachment and craving and all with these things. There is it's keep continue, but always ration and passion. If there are no soul, and that the is the Buddha mentioned jati, birth, a birth. I don't know it's rebirth or reincarnation, but it is birth. Birth means born and birth. The birth is the appearing somewhere with the aggregates and with the sense basis, and this is called the jati. And then Buddha mentioned here, and what is the jara? Jara is the decaying, growing old, decaying, and then the broken, condition, broken of the parts of the body, broken the hair, broken the teeth, broken the bones, broken the skin, broken this whole body, condition, especially broken the teeth, and also polish and the gray, gray the hair, become gray, valitachata, and a wrinkling, the skin become the wrinkling and is squeezing the body. And then the sanghani, losing the vitality, and the becoming mature of the, not mature, paripaku, the senses become very, what's that called, vitality and failing faculties of the the senses become so weak. This is called decaying, and then this is monks called decay or grow aging. Okay, aging is the growing old, and then the become weak, and the broken teeth and broken the body parts, and then the wrinkling, graving hair, head hair, body hair, and then the wrinkling skin, losing vitality, and the weakening the sense basis, and this is called jara, aging. And then what is the death? And Buddha mentioned here, monks, death is the chuti, disappear. Uh, the people and the sentient beings, people not disappear, right? People die. People die is called marana. But the who born spontaneously as a deities, and they not die, they disappear. How they appear, and like that they will disappear. This is called chuti in Pali. That's why Buddha used many different words to use, because chuti, chavanata, bedo, antaradhanam, machumaranam, kalakiriya, khandanam, bedu, kalebara, nikkepu, jivitindriyasu pachedu. Ida maranam. And monks, this is the marana. This is the death. What is the death? It's called, but let's see here, I mentioned passing away, perishing, disintegration, demise, mortality, death, disease, breaking up of the aggregates, laying to rest of the corpse, and cutting off of the life faculty of the various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. And this is called death. And then what is the soko? What is the soko? What is the sorrow? And Buddha mentioned here, when the unpleasant, unagreeable things get contact, Um, and then Soko sorrow, a deep sorrow. Let's see how it's translated. And what is this sorrow? The sorrow, sorrowing state. And sorrow, state of sorrow. Sorrow and state of sorrow, inner deep sorrow, in someone who has undergone misfortune, who has experienced suffering. When we have misfortune and when we experience suffering and sorrow arising, then we go into deep into the sorrow, and this is called sorrow. When unpleasant, unagreeable things get to experience, and then we going through misfortune, uh, suffering, then sorrow arising. Okay, this is called Soko. And then the Parideva. Parideva is the crying, well, the lamenting. Yeah, lamenting. So that's called Parideva. And the same thing, when the unpleasant and agreeable thing get contact, when we experience the discomfort, and then when the misfortune, when we going through the misfortune, and then the what is not pleasant, agreeable thing, and then we cry, lamenting, and this is called the parideva, crying, shedding the tears, and then we scream, crying. Do you have cried ever, Junior?
Yes.
Anyone here not never cried in your life? Let me know. Hello.
Even when you
Oh,
born, you cry.
when you born, yeah, when you born we cry. Right? If you not cry, that's a problem. Then the doctor take you and keep hitting you to cry. Michael, you have cried in your life? Hello. Why you cried? Lisa, you have cried?
Maybe they muted.
They mute. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Why you?
Sorrow,
Why you?
sorrow and sadness, yeah.
You sorrow and cry. Why you cried?
Um, a death or a loss or even frustration, something didn't go my way.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. As a child, we all cry when we asking many things from the parents when we go shopping. So then we lie down and cry, keep crying, screaming. Then mom get angry and hit. Sometimes they give, sometimes hit. So then when we grow old and we cry too, when something happen unpleasant, yeah, discomfort things, and we lose something, so we cry. Then here, the cry is the one of suffering. It's not comfortable, right? Cry. Some people cry when they're happy too. But this is not here mentioned. They cry, then we can say to cry. They cry because of suffering, some are cry because of happy. So, but here Buddha mentioned definitely exactly when discomfort and when we go on misfortune, going through the misfortune and discomfort, not what is not comfortable, suffering, and then we cry. And this is here called Parideva. Okay, let's see, before we end up this session, another three, we have still some 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Okay, let's go. I want to finish this is very as quick, but let's see. And then the dukkha, again Buddha come to dukkha, and what is the dukkha, what is the suffering? Yanko bhikkhave khayakan dukkhaṃ khayakan asataṃ kaya sampassajan dukkhaṃ asataṃ vedetaṃ idam uchyate bhikkhave dukkhaṃ. And we have a physical pain, and this is called dukkha. Dukkha is the physical pain. Kaikang dukkang, kaikang asatang, kaya sampasajan dukkang. Physical unpleasantness, the painful, unpleasant feeling that's born from physical contact. And this is called dukkha. And domanas. So domanas is a mental pain. Domanas is a mental pain. Mental pain is related with mind. And then the mental displeasure, the painful, unpleasant feeling that's born from mental contact. And this is called domanas. Physical pain and mental pain. And then come to upayas. Upayas is stress or displeasure. And then when the physical and mental pain exist continuously, then the stress is coming up and come to exist, and that is stress, displeasure, despair, whatever it is called, that is bad, and we keep, what's that called? Something like that. What's that called? Oh my goodness, how those people keep, or something like that. They're going through a lot of pain. So,
Depression.
huh?
Depression.
Yeah, depression. Yeah, depression. This is bias. So, and then the apiya sampayogo dukkho is get contact with not loved ones. And Buddha mentioned here with details. Actually, here in this sutta, Buddha explained it with very detailed. Get associate with unpleasant ones. What is Buddha mentioned here? What is that? Okay. Then something come to contact us, not pleasant. The forms come to see, but we want to see. And this is to get suffering because of come to contact unpleasant things, forms. And sounds are very scary and not pleasant, very painful to hear that. Make a lot of worry and sad and suffering. That sound is very, very painful. And even the people who is living with us, but we don't want to hear their sound is not pleasant. And it's suffering, right? It's suffering. So then if someone you don't want to see always, but you have to see always, it's suffering. Because you have to live with that and to associate with that and to deal with that, and to then the people, whoever you're not happy with, but you have to see again and again. Those kind of forms called rupa and come to see, it make you suffering. And the sounds you don't want to hear, but you have to always hear, that's the suffering. And then the gandha, smell you don't want to smell, but it's come to you have to smell, that's suffering. And the rasa you have to taste, but you not want to taste, but it's make you unhappy. And then the contact, but you don't want to feel, not make you comfortable and happy, and what is make you pain, give you pain. And that physical contact is the not what the suffering. And then the and the people, and you always want to see, wish to you pain, suffering. And they don't want to you be happy. And they want to you make, not protect. And they want you in miserable situation. And they want to see you have gone through misfortune. And they want to see you have failing, not success, losing, and your all misfortune. The people, they always wishing you bad things, and then but you have to live with them and deal with them, and this is called suffering of associating unloved ones. Okay, then here, what is the separation from the loved one? What is the suffering of separation from the loved ones? Okay, we are going to learn this one in next week. Okay, let's finish it. Let's finish. Then we finish the suffering. And what is the separation from the loved ones? Suffering of separation from the loved ones is then you want to birth again and again, but you have to birth again and again. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Piye vipayogo dukkho, the suffering of separation from the loved ones. Then if something you want to see always, but you lose it. Then the forms, visual object you love to see your whole life, but you lose it. And the sounds you want to hear, but you lose it. When you lose it, the smell you want to smell, the odors you want to smell, taste you want to taste, and you touches you want to touch, and then the things but when you lose them, and you become suffering. And then the people who always wish you happiness, wish you success, wish you benefits, and they want you be happy, enjoy, and to become success. And the people you always wishing your safety. And they could be your mother, your father, and Bhata, your brother, and Bhagini, your sister, Mitra, your friend, and your colleague, and your relative, and then you get separation from them. The people you love most and care about you most and wishing happiness you most, wishing success you most, but you lose them. Then this is called the separation from the loved ones of suffering. And then Yampicha nalabati tampi dukkhan, then suffering of not gaining what you want. Then I don't want to get birth again and again, but I have to get birth again and again. This is called suffering of gain, not what we want. I don't want to grow in old. I don't want to decay. I don't want a gray hair. I don't want a broken teeth. I don't want a wrinkled skin. I don't want to lose in my strength, vitality. But it's happening. And this is called suffering of gaining, not what we want. So, and then death. We don't want to die, but we have to die. Then Vyadi Dhamma. We don't want to get sick, but we get sick. That's the suffering. I don't wish to be sick. I don't wish to get ill, but it's come to me. This is the suffering of gaining, not what we want. What about if someone get cancer or something very whole life have to deal with that kind of physical pain, illness. So we have to live with them. So this is kind of suffering. We all know that, right? The suffering, the illness. And in this sutta, this is mentioned in the beginning, but it's mentioned here. And then the death. We don't want to die, but we have to resist the death. And then the sorrow, lamentation, physical pain and mental pain and depression, despair, displeasure, and this whole thing we experience, but we don't want. And this is called the suffering of gaining, not what we want. Okay, then this is Buddha mentioned monks, and here and briefly suffering of 5 aggregates of clinging, 5 aggregates of clinging. Panchupadana Khanda, suffering of Panchupadana Khanda. Briefly, monks, I say, suffering of Panchupadana Khanda, 5 aggregates of clinging. Clinging of, clinging on to forms, clinging on to feeling, clinging on to perception, clinging on to volitions, volitional formation, and clinging on to consciousness. And these aggregates of clinging are the whole suffering. Briefly is suffering. And then we end up today with the suffering. And next week we're going to learn the origin of suffering. Before we end, if you have a very short question and ask me, this, the time is all gone. If not, we made the end of session. Okay. Well, thank you for your comments. So then let's transfer merits to the departed ones and share the merits with the deities, ghosts, and with all sentient beings. And share the merits with our family members and loved ones and friends. And may they all share these merits and be happy, healthy, live long, happily, peacefully. And by the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, by the power of these merits, you live happily, peacefully, without any afflictions. And finally, may we all be able to attain to enlightenment. Akasatta chabummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang chirang rakkantu desanang chirang rakkantu mang parang. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you so much. So interesting.
Okay. Thank you.
Everyone's up. That's what my mom said.
Terwan Sarnai Nona.